Hello and welcome to the Printing Tips and our tutorial today on how to add bleed to your artwork. Now the first thing that we'll point out is that if you have a look at the top of the screen, you'll see that the file name is described there, and this is an InDesign file, which is the ideal program to lay out a multi-page printing project. If I just go to save, you'll see that the file is called project name, so in there you might put invitation, and then it's 2pp, meaning pages, DL size, and then the dimensions of the layout. So it's 210 millimeters wide by 99 millimeters high. So that means that when the printer receives the PDF, that the way the file is described enables us to discuss with you what the project's called, so we know actually have an accurate description of its name, and then what you're expecting to receive, and also the dimensions that you're expecting it to be the finished size as. Okay, so if you do that, and then we save that file, so we've got it named correctly. And the next thing that we want to look at is make sure that in document setup, now again in the file menu, document setup, this is an InDesign file, we can see that the file has 2 pages and that the width is 210 millimeters and the height is 99 millimeters. So that's okay. So what we want to do is show how to apply bleed to this design. So at the moment, the artwork is only going to the edge of the file. I'm just going to turn display performance onto high quality so the image quality improves from just being a preview. So we've got 210 millimeter wide by 99 millimeter high box. So the art's only going to the trim edge at the moment. So what we need to do is pull the box that contains the artwork out. Now I'm pulling it out 5 millimeters to that red line on the top, on the right hand side, and down the bottom there. So now you can see that the art is actually extending beyond the trim area of the document. If we go down to page 2, you can see that page 2's got white to the edge, so this is the reverse side of the design. So we don't need to extend the picture boxes there because it's white, it's just paper being trimmed, so that doesn't matter. So we've now got our 5 millimeters extra image around the edges, so you need to be wary of what area of the image that you use so that when it's trimmed you get what you're looking for. And if I just select the artwork again on this icon down the bottom of the tool palette in InDesign, I can see what it will look like when it's trimmed, and if I select it back over to show the bleed, I can see that it's showing the extra 5 millimeters. So that's all good and ready to go. So if I now create a PDF by going to the File menu and going down to Adobe PDF Presets and selecting Press Quality, we'll save the file into a folder, and that's your decision where you put the file. So I'm putting it in Tutorial Files. Then we press Save. Place, there's already a PDF in there with the same name. So we're going to PDF all pages. We don't need to change anything. I always like to select View PDF after exporting so that once the PDF has been created, it opens up automatically for me to view it. So then we'll just go down to marks and bleeds, and the only thing we need to select there is crop marks. Ignore bleed marks, that's not bleed, they're marks that show where the edge of the bleed is. We just want crop marks, and the other thing to do is take bleed up to 5 millimeters. I mean, it could be 3, but we'll take it to 5 because that's what I actually selected it to. And over here, if you just check that you've got a 0.25 weight trim mark, that's the thickness of the trim mark, it's 0.25 of a point, and it's offset from the edge of the artwork by 2.117 millimeters. All right. If you turned page information on, you'd get the name of the file being on the edge of the page. And if you turned on color bars, you get a color bar set along the edge of the art as well. But we don't really need that. What we really want to be able to see is where you want the artwork trimmed. So if we now export the file, Acrobat will generate a PDF, and because I asked for it to open up automatically, it'll open up shortly. And we can see the 2 pages of the design side by side, and we can see these trim marks here which show us where to trim the artwork. So we now know where it's to be trimmed, and we know that those trim marks correspond with the physical dimensions of the file in the file name. The reverse side of the design, you can see, is showing trim marks as well, but of course there's no bleed because it's just white paper. So that's all there really is to it. It's a little bit different if you're using applications like Microsoft Word or Publisher, because they don't allow you to apply bleed the same way that InDesign does, because they're not considered to be publishing packages of the same level as Adobe InDesign. But if you need any assistance, any tips via email, or you need to call us, you can see our contact details on the site. So please don't hesitate to call, and we look forward to helping you out so that your print job can be done as quickly and as most cost effectively as possible. Thanks for listening.